York City, New York City. New York City.
New York.
SummerSlam Sunday almost here. It's going to be a big day if you're in New York City. You can go at 11 a.m. Caroline's on Broadway. Be part of a Talk is Jericho podcast with former WWE champion Christian, World Heavyweight champion Christian. Then Christian, myself, Nick Hausman will be 120 Sports at 2:30. Join me at 205th at 4 o'clock. Free pre-party, SummerSlam, and then afterwards, the after party, back at 205th. Again, you can go on 120 Sports Facebook at midnight. Myself, Nick Hausman, and Sheamus talking about all things at our SummerSlam. But it's not quite the same comparison as the original CSR duo that is LeBar and Eisenberg.
They like us. They drink us in. They got the looks and they got the brains. I'll let you decide which one you are.
Drink it in, man.
Drink it in, man.
All right. Let's kick it off. We got the final match to talk about. Let's talk AJ Styles versus John Cena, what we would think to be the culmination of this entire summer feud.
Styles all the way. Styles has to win this match.
I agree.
AJ Styles has to go over clean. You saw John Cena really put over Kevin Owens in the beginning of their feud, but then he got the upper hand like he always does, correct? But this isn't Kevin Owens. This isn't a guy that the IWC loves. This is AJ Styles, who's had 15 years of success outside of the WWE, establishing himself as one of the best. And you see Styles on PIX 11 in New York with Scott Stanford, kind of staying in that heel promo, heel gimmick. And this is a guy right now. AJ Styles wins this. AJ Styles, and mark my words, will be the next WWE champion come Survivor Series.
If you're making WrestleRumble.com picks, which I encourage you to do, first place is $750. I think this is definitely where you can get an edge. A lot of people, you think Big Show, like SummerSlam, big match Cena, big match John. But here's the thing: while their promos have been great and personal, they've really tapped into those personal stereotypes. I think in real life, I think behind all the curtains and doors, I think John Cena has really appreciated how AJ Styles has shown up, the work ethic, the quality of matches. I think John Cena. Even if Vince and the creative boards are going to do it, I think John Cena says, Vince, we put AJ Styles over here. Not saying AJ Styles is the next John Cena in the company, but I think John realized it's better for business for AJ Styles to get the victory.
And AJ needs that big win. He's had the cheap win at Money in the Bank. He needs that big win,
It's the biggest match of AJ Styles' WWE career to be the biggest win.
Absolutely.
Moving over, let's go to the United States title, Roman Reigns versus Rusev. Is it a foregone conclusion that Roman Reigns is going to win this?
I'm going to say no. I think this is the feud that actually has longevity. We've seen these guys compete multiple times actually on SmackDown main events about a year ago when they were really pushing Roman Reigns, and Rusev took the brunt of it. Whenever Rusev lost at WrestleMania to John Cena, you had more creativity. Yeah, he was a dominant force and was undefeated, or was never pinned, we'll say. But whenever he faced Roman Reigns after that first loss to John Cena, those losses seemed irrelevant. And now he's built back up into this monster. Roman Reigns is still going to be a guy. He could win by disqualification. He could win by countout. You do not give Roman Reigns the United States Championship, especially in Brooklyn, especially at SummerSlam, because what it's going to do is going to completely squash everything you've tried to do to build Rusev back up. Everything that they've been trying to do with Rusev. I say Rusev wins it. You know what? I'm going to say Reigns wins this via disqualification. Championship still stays around the waist of the Bulgarian Brute.
I don't care if it's the Boston Red Sox, the Los Angeles Lakers, ISIS. Well, maybe not ISIS. I don't care who's standing across the ring. That New York crowd is not going to cheer Roman Reigns. Yeah. Maybe if he beats ISIS, maybe they cheer him then. But otherwise, Roman Reigns is not going to get cheered. The United States title needs to stay on Rusev. So I think this is definitely calls for interference or something that Reigns can look strong. Rusev can hold on to the title, and it carries into whatever Reigns' next feud is. And let's face it, too. They just gave us on free television
a clean win from Roman Reigns.
And a clean win after a 20-minute match. Yeah. So
it was a great match nonetheless. I mean, people are going to bitch and complain about that the entire time, but when you look at what they gave you on free TV, you realize this is the fifth most important match at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Even behind the Women's Championship match, even behind the World title matches, even behind Cena and Styles, this is not as important as it was on Monday night and potentially at Raw-only pay-per-views.
Well, it's definitely not as important as the two World title matches. And before Josh and I chime in, let's go to independent professional wrestler, our colleague, Renell Hunt.
Preach.
Thanks, guys. Jumping right on in it for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler. I'm giving it straight to Dean Ambrose. The simple thing of this, we understand that Dolph Ziggler built himself up. He had all the hope that he could. He won the six-man pack. He was on the phone after the show backstage. He said, hey, listen, I'm looking right now. Hey, I lost my way. I found it. But at the same time as looking at just like this, Dean Ambrose needs this. The brand split right now, we need to make themselves as unique as possible. Dean Ambrose has taken this. There's no other way to give it to him. Jumping on the other hand, for the Universal WWE Championship, giving it to none other than Finn Balor. He's getting the win over Seth Rollins. I know we've done the whole documentary. I know we went through the injury at the house show with Seth Rollins, but what better way to put the cherry on top of the cupcake than by giving the win to Finn Balor, especially after he's done the unexplainable by beating Roman Reigns clean at the very first brand split Monday Night Raw right there in Pittsburgh, giving the Universal title to Finn Balor. That's my prediction, guys. Back over to you.
All right, thanks, Rev. Make sure you follow Rev. I'm sure he'll be live tweeting during SummerSlam. Again, WrestleRumble.com. We can't say enough about it. Get in on the action. It's going to make SummerSlam that much more exciting. Rev's going with Dean Ambrose for the WWE Championship up against Dolph Ziggler. I got to say that I agree. I don't see them taking the title off of Ambrose for Ziggler. We all love Ziggler. He's a hell of a performer, sells better than anybody. But, again, I think if they were going to do it, they would have done it long ago. I think this is Dean Ambrose as they go into the brand-specific pay-per-views. Dean Ambrose, never mind what you hear about backstage heat or whatever because of the Austin podcast, he's still holding on to this title.
Dean Ambrose wins this title, or wins this match and retains the title. With all of your points. I mean, you see Dolph Ziggler, a guy that's a performer. People were surprised to see him win this. I think it's one hell of a match. I think it's an incredible match where you're going to get a lot of close finishes from Dolph Ziggler. But ultimately, one of Dolph Ziggler's biggest weaknesses is doing too much at the very end where he's trying to bring out all the stops, which he's mentioned a few times. He's going to bring him everything he's got. One misstep turns into a dirty deeds. Dean Ambrose wins. But I'm excited to see after the match because I do think SummerSlam does not go off the air without seeing Bray Wyatt.
And I kind of think Bray Wyatt might be somebody who, yeah, I mean, you're right. Bray Wyatt's going to get involved somewhere on this.
A lot of opportunity for guys like Bray Wyatt
Absolutely.
and Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose and even AJ Styles and Randy Orton. They actually have a lot of legitimate main event talent just to have to place where they're at.
What's very exciting is I can see this match, the one we're getting ready to talk about, being the last one on the on the card, on the show. And it truly has some Wrestle Rumble implications. You can make a case for either one. It is the crowning of the WWE Universal Champion, the champion that will be on Monday Night Raw.
Who you got, Justin? I'm so curious to get in that brain
Seth
of yours
Rollins
and
versus
find
Finn
out.
Balor. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. This is Seth Rollins any which way you look at it. WWE is known since Rollins was rehabbing and they were filming that WWE 24/7 piece. Or WWE 24 piece, they knew that Seth Rollins was going to have his moment at SummerSlam. They may have not known then that they were going to have 2 world titles, but here we are. Finn Balor's a great first opponent for him, the great opponent to have to conquer. It's great heat. Obviously, Seth Rollins is going to remain a heel. Beating Finn Balor is going to be a great way to do it. You got the Demon entrance on Monday, which I was fine with. Educate people because not everybody knows about the Demon and Finn Balor. You're going to get it again, and luckily, Finn Balor's going to lose, and it won't be the first time we're seeing the Demon on main roster television. He's going to lose. He's not going anywhere. He's still getting the title picture from here on out. But Seth Rollins, every which way.
I'm surprised that you and I agree. I'm being completely honest with you.
Popular opinion,
it's not a popular opinion either. But you look at Seth Rollins, a guy that won the United States and WWE World Championship together last year. He held both of those up in the air, and that was pretty much a history-making moment. And then injury came in a couple of months later, and he's been out. I like Finn Balor more than the next person, more than the next indie mark out there, more than anybody who watches the WWE Network. I love the creation of his 2 personas because it's very DC comic, Marvel comics, things like that. He's not going to flop as much as Suicide Squad. We know that. He's going to be up there for the entire duration of his career. He's a guy
really
that you can
make
market. No, let's be honest here. But I do think Seth Rollins wins because Seth Rollins is a guy, they still want to be a heel. So what better way to get more heel heat than beat Finn Balor, the darling child of Triple H? Both of these guys have been known to be Triple H guys.
Yeah.
He's taking pictures with all these people. We've always known Finn and Seth Rollins are Triple H's boy. But let me ask you this. Is there a potential possibility that said Triple H returns to SummerSlam?
Maybe, but if he does, it's still siding with Rollins.
I
But
agree.
obviously
I
you're not-
agree.
obviously
I
you're
do
not
agree.
You're not going to muddy what's a great babyface
I agree.
in Finn Balor or what could be. So there you have it. WrestleRumble.com. Make your predictions. Follow everybody on Twitter. It's going to be fun live tweeting. Of course, if you're going to be in New York City and Brooklyn throughout Sunday, come see me. I'll have all the details on WrestleZone and on my Twitter of where we're going to be. Thanks to Squirrel Hill Sports Bar. We will see you next week.